You think if you disappear, she'll finally miss you and come running back. But the truth is, when a woman knows she's truly lost you, she doesn't chase the way you fantasize. She tests the door, quietly, one last time. And if you're the kind of man who needs comfort more than truth, click off now, because what I'm about to say will either sharpen you or expose you. If you want reminders like this, if you want truth on days your emotions try to rewrite history, subscribe right now. Not for me, for you. Because you don't need more hope. You need clarity. You need repetition. You need your spine reinforced until it becomes your default. Here's the thesis, and I'm not going to dress it up. When she knows she can't get you back, her behavior isn't romance. It's not destiny. It's not a sign you were meant to be. It's a response to a door that finally closed. It's what happens when access is removed. It's what happens when your attention, your presence, your validation, your emotional labor stops being available on demand, and you've been trained to misread that moment. The misconception is this: if she reaches out again, it means she finally realized my value. You want that to be true because it makes the pain feel like it had a purpose. It makes the humiliation feel like a prelude to victory. It lets you believe the story ends with her crying in the rain, apologizing, and you standing there as the man who was right all along. But the hard truth is harsher and cleaner. Most of the time, when she reaches out after she knows she's lost you, she's not returning to you. She's returning to the version of you that was easy to access, the version that stayed available, the version that could be triggered by a, "Hey, I was thinking about you," the version that could be pulled off your mission like a fire alarm. That's called availability addiction. And I'm not saying she's evil. I'm saying she's human. Attention is a drug. Validation is a drug. Being wanted without having to earn it is a drug. And when you finally cut the supply, a person doesn't always respond with love. They respond with withdrawal. So what does it look like when she knows she's truly lost you and can't get you back? First, you get the soft return, not a confession, not accountability, a vibe, a breadcrumb dressed in nostalgia, a song, a memory, "this reminded me of you," a random like on an old photo, a view on your story at 2 a.m. It's low risk, it's clean, because if you bite, she gets the hit. If you don't, she can pretend she never reached. That's called plausible deniability. Then you get the friendly check-in. "How have you been? Hope you're good. I just wanted to make sure you're okay." Listen to me. When someone truly wants you back, they don't send a wellness survey. They send ownership. They send directness. They send, "I messed up. I miss you. I want to fix what I broke. Here's how." But the check-in isn't for your well-being. It's for her temperature reading. It's her dipping a toe in your boundaries to see if they're real or just a mood. And most men fail right there. Because your ego lights up. Your chest rises. You think, she still cares. No, she still wonders if she can still pull you. There's a difference. Presence versus power, reality versus fantasy, love versus leverage. Next comes the revision. This one is dangerous because it feels good. She starts talking like the good times were the whole relationship. She gets warm, she gets reflective, she gets tender. She says things like, "We had something special," and your brain starts editing out the disrespect. Your mind starts cropping the photos, keeping the smiles, cutting the betrayal. That's called selective memory, and it's the gateway drug back into the same cycle. Then, if you remain calm, if you don't rush in, if you don't start auditioning again, she shifts. Now you might get irritation. Not because you did something wrong, but because your non-reaction insults the old dynamic. She's used to you responding fast. She's used to you proving yourself. She's used to your emotions being on a leash she can tug. So when you don't jump, she feels the loss more sharply, and that discomfort needs a target. That's called displacement. You'll see it as little jabs, little accusations. "You've changed. You're cold. You're acting like you're better than me." Translation: you're no longer predictable, and I hate that. Because predictable men are controllable men, and controllable men are safe to ignore until they're gone. And when she truly realizes you're not coming back, you may see one of two extremes. One extreme is the performance, a sudden display of growth. She's journaling, she's in therapy, she's spiritual, she's posting quotes about healing, she's talking about accountability like it's a new outfit. And again, maybe it's real. People can change, but don't be naive. Sometimes the performance is less about transformation and more about regaining access. The other extreme is the discard narrative. This is where she needs to protect her ego by rewriting you as the villain. Because if you left with dignity, if you walked away without begging, then she has to face the possibility that she lost a good man through her own choices. And that's a mirror most people can't hold for long. So she tells herself, and maybe others, he wasn't that great. He was insecure. He was controlling. He couldn't handle me. Not because it's true, because it's easier than accepting, I took him for granted and now he's gone. That's called ego preservation. Now let's go deeper. Why does this happen? What's the root cause? The root cause is not that she suddenly discovered your value. The root cause is that your absence finally created consequence. Your silence finally created contrast. When you were present, she could treat you however she wanted and still keep the benefits. You were a stable supply of attention in a world where attention is currency. And the moment you became scarce, you became valuable. Read that again slowly. Scarcity creates value, not because you became better overnight, but because you removed free access. This is why men get trapped, because you confuse being wanted with being respected. She can want you and still not respect you. She can miss you and still not choose you. She can crave your energy and still not be willing to meet your standards. Want is not commitment. Want is not character. Want is not change. So what does it cost you if you misread her reaching out as proof you should return? It costs you your future. It costs you momentum. It costs you peace. It costs you your self-respect. Because the version of you that goes back without evidence, without standards, without consistent behavior, is the version of you that teaches her a brutal lesson. I can do whatever I want, and you'll still be here. And once you teach that lesson, you will live under it. You'll start monitoring her mood like it's the weather. You'll start negotiating basic decency like it's a favor. You'll start confusing anxiety with passion, and you'll call the chaos love because calm feels unfamiliar. That's called emotional homelessness. Now here's the reframe that separates men who stay stuck from men who level up. Her reaction to losing you is not your reward. It's your test. It's life asking you, did you learn? Or are you still hungry for the same validation that broke you? Because deep down, you don't just miss her. You miss being chosen. You miss the proof that you mattered. You miss the fantasy that if she came back, it would mean you're finally enough. But you were never not enough. You were just handing your worth to someone who didn't have the maturity to hold it. Let me paint you the archetype, the man who wins this moment without becoming bitter. He's not loud. He's not petty. He's not posting thirst traps to get a reaction. He's not sending paragraphs. He's not checking her page like it's an IV drip. He's grounded. He has a morning that belongs to him. He has work that matters. He has a body that he trains. He has standards that don't change based on loneliness. He doesn't speak from need. He speaks from principle. He doesn't threaten to leave. He leaves. He doesn't demand respect. He requires it. And the key difference? He doesn't try to extract closure from the person who caused the confusion. He closes the chapter himself. That man understands something you must understand right now. Boundaries are not punishment. Boundaries are self-respect made visible. Boundaries are you saying, I don't hate you, I just won't abandon myself to keep you comfortable. And when a woman realizes she can't move that man with guilt, with sweetness, with nostalgia, with sex, with a crisis, with a compliment, something happens. She meets consequence for the first time. She feels the weight of her choices, and that's why you'll see those last attempts, the late-night messages, the accidental run-ins, the sudden warmth, the sudden softness, the sudden interest in your life, because your absence is loud. Silence, when it's earned, is a statement. Silence says, I'm not negotiating my dignity. Silence says, I'm not here to be optional. Silence says, I'm building a life that doesn't require your approval. That's called leadership of the self. Now I'm going to give you the tight sequence, The actions, not theories, not poetry, actions. Do this. Stop treating her contact like a sign. Treat it like data. If she reaches out, you do not surge. You do not celebrate. You do not punish. You observe. You keep your tone calm. You keep your words short. You keep your dignity intact. Stop this. Stop explaining your pain to someone who already demonstrated they could live with it. Stop sending essays. Stop recounting memories like they're evidence. Stop trying to be understood by someone who benefited from misunderstanding you. Redirect. Put the energy back into the parts of your life that don't lie to you. Your body will tell you the truth. The gym doesn't gaslight you. The work doesn't pretend. The craft doesn't manipulate. Your routine will either rebuild you or expose you. Choose rebuild. Do this. Set a standard for contact. If she wants to talk, it happens in reality, not in vague texts that keep you hooked. Reality has accountability. Reality has eye contact. Reality has consequences. Fantasy lives in your phone at midnight and drains your next day. Stop this. Stop giving boyfriend benefits to someone who isn't choosing you with girlfriend behavior. Stop offering emotional availability to someone who hasn't offered consistency. Stop giving access to a woman who only wants your presence when she feels you slipping away. Do this. Require ownership, not apologies. Ownership. Apologies are cheap. Ownership has specifics. Ownership has changed behavior. Ownership has time. Ownership has humility. If she can't name what she did, why it mattered, and what she's doing differently, you're not looking at growth. You're looking at another loop. And here's the part that might sting, but you need it. If she truly lost you, you won't need to guess. You won't need to decode. You won't need to interpret signs. She will be clear. She will be direct. She will be consistent. Because a woman who respects a man doesn't play games with his time. She doesn't hover. She doesn't haunt. She doesn't test his boundaries like they're suggestions. But even if she does everything right, listen carefully, even if she does, you still don't return to the past. You only consider a new future if it aligns with the man you're becoming, not the man you were when you tolerated less. Because the goal isn't to win her back. The goal is to win you back. You stop waiting for someone to finally see you. You start seeing yourself. You stop begging for a seat at a table that feeds you scraps. You build your own table. You stop outsourcing your worth to her mood. You start anchoring it in your standards. You stop chasing closure. You stop chasing explanations. You stop chasing the version of her that only existed when you were ignoring red flags. You stop. You stop. You stop. And in that stopping, something powerful happens. You become untouchable, not in the arrogant way, in the disciplined way, in the self-respecting way, in the way that says, I am no longer available for dynamics that shrink me. And that's when you'll notice the real shift, not in her, in you. You'll breathe differently. You'll walk differently. You'll choose differently. You'll realize your life doesn't need her to be meaningful. Your peace doesn't need her permission. Your confidence doesn't need her texts. You are the answer, not her apology, not her regret, not her sudden attention, not her tears. You. So the next time you feel that pull, the itch to respond fast, the urge to prove, the fantasy that this time it'll be different, ask yourself one clean question. Does this align with the man I respect? If the answer is no, you already have your clarity. And if you want more of this, more truth, more backbone, more clarity when your emotions get loud, subscribe. Because this is a place for men who are done being played by their own hope. You're not alone here. You're surrounded by people choosing self-respect over chaos, purpose over craving, reality over fantasy. Keep showing up, keep leveling up, and don't you dare go back to being the man who begs to be chosen.